my viewers, my little, I'm trying to find my money. On Monday, I had $100. Sorry, I had $110 in my wallet. Let me check my purse and my wallet again. I had $110 in my wallet on Monday, and now I only see $10. Where did the $100 go? It just disappeared. Now I don't have enough money to tie me over to my next paycheck. What am I going to do? My listeners, does this scenario sound familiar? Think for a moment about your present financial situation. Are you living from paycheck to paycheck, wondering where or how your money disappeared so quickly? Oftentimes, do you feel that the more money you make, working overtime, extra jobs, it's still not enough to supply your basic needs? Are insufficient fund notices from your bank institution popping up? When you go to the store, does MasterCard or Visa accompany you when sale transactions take place? Does it seem to you that your money has wings? It flies right out of your hands before you even realize it. Finally, on Sunday mornings during offering time, do you give God a tip, chump change, or the last crumbs of the money left over after you paid all your other bills? If you answer yes to any of these questions, this lesson will empower you to manage your finances effectively. This evening, my scripture lesson text will come from Proverbs, the 27th chapter, 23rd verse, and Proverbs, the 30th chapter, verses 24 and 25. The text reads, starting with Proverbs 27 and verse 23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. There are four things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. My text for this evening: be a good steward of what God has given you. To properly prepare for this lesson, I wanted to consult with an expert with first-hand knowledge and experience with money management. There is no better person than King Solomon. He is the author of Proverbs and known as the wisest and wealthiest individual that has ever lived. Back in the biblical days, flocks and herds were a sign of wealth, meaning assets. Remember Job? He had thousands of flocks and herds. If owners wanted to maintain their wealthy status, they had to be very attentive and hardworking. Owners had to check and inspect their herds and flocks on a regular basis. Head counts were taken to see if any animals were missing, a new birth occurred, or if any animal had developed an infection, sickness, or disease. Animals had to be well fed so they could produce healthy offspring. More offspring meant more money for the owner. Safety was a high priority. Owners had to find ways to keep their herds and flocks safe from predators. Owners often made improvements and always planned for the future. They were constantly on the lookout for potential threats and growth opportunities. If the owner hired someone to oversee their herds and flocks, they will supervise their staff and stay abreast on all matters. Now, King Solomon is telling us today, like the owners of flocks and herds, that we should keep an eye on our assets, whether it's money, property, rental properties, real estate, farms, etc. We need to know what we own, how much debt we have, and what we spend. Take control of your finances. A budget is an important tool for keeping your finances in order. What is a budget? It's a plan, a roadmap of how you spend and save your money. You can see where your money is going. A budget allows you to track your spending and see where you are overspending. This tool will help you focus on saving more so you can reach your financial goals. Living on a budget will cure the living paycheck to paycheck syndrome. Keep in mind that as you implement a budget, you should set goals for yourself. Let me begin by explaining how to start a budget. Check your pay stubs, credit card statements, bank statements, and online bank accounts, so you will get a clearer picture in your head how much money you have coming in, how much money is going out, where your money is going, and the sources of money, meaning income from your job, child support, pensions, etc., that's coming into your household. The next set of guidelines will be illustrated on a PowerPoint. Set clear goals that are important to you. And I listed some examples. An emergency fund to cover living expenses for 1 year, possibly saving for retirement, paying off debt, and purchasing a home. Goals give you something to strive for, and it helps you to take control of your financial decisions. Know the difference between needs and wants. Needs are necessities, essentials we must have to survive, something required for survival. Some examples are food, shelter, and clothing. Wants are desires, something you would like to have and can live without. Some examples of wants are dining out, cable, and a cruise vacation. Now, if you are having a hard time saving money or finding yourself going into debt because of your wants, you need to start cutting these items out of your budget until you get your spending under control and your financial house in order. This is an example of a personal budget. Under the category section, this section is the income section, this first part. You want to list all sources of income on your budget. You have the salary and your other incomes. You may have more, but you want to make sure you have all the sources of your income. And you write your total here for the income. And you want to make a list of all of your bills, which are under your expenses. Under the projected amount, you are estimating specific amounts for your income and the bills you expect to pay. Now, if you notice, the expenses are grouped under specific categories. So we have nonprofit charitable organizations. As an example, savings and investments. And it's best to list the most important expenses first and the non-essentials toward the end. So again, notice I listed the charitable donations first in my budget. The charitable donations include church donations, tithes, 10% of your income. Honor God with your tithes. Don't be guilty of robbing God. Savings. Savings is considered as an expense. You are paying yourself. After you pay God first with your tithe of 10%, pay yourself next. Have a surplus of at least 6 months to 1 year of living expenses. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account that corresponds to your pay period at your place of employment. Aim for at least 10% for your savings. If you can save more, do so. When you receive pay raises on your job, increase your savings. Just pretend you did not get the raise and add it to your savings. These slides are showing you more examples on how you can organize a personal budget. Again, notice how I did the categories. I listed the different type of expenses into different categories. And you can be as detailed as you want. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. And again, you listen all of your projected amounts. Now, when all of your projected amounts at the beginning, when you list all of your projected amounts, what you anticipate that you're going to spend, then you're going to compare those amounts with the actual amounts. You're going to record the total for both columns. You notice I have total expenses for projected amount, total expenses for actual amount. The balance means the money you have left over after you have paid all of your bills. Subtract your expenses from your income and write the amounts for the projected amount as well as the actual amount. The next step is very crucial. When you complete your written budget, track your actual expenses and compare it to your projected expenses. So you're comparing both of these columns, all of your expenses on every single category. And you do this every month. This is especially important. You will be able to see if you stay committed to your plan of action, discover some areas where you overspent, or whether you need to make some adjustments to your spending and the budget itself. Also, identify areas where you can cut back in order to save money. In the last column, you can write notes if you want to make calculations, if you go up or down in each expense. Just take notes when needed. And always leave extra space on your budget for unexpected expenses. Leave some extra money. Again, always leave some extra money in your budget for unexpected expenses. These expenses can ruin your budget. High interest credit card bills, high interest loans, dining out, takeouts, delivery, and cable. God controls all the wealth in the world. The money that we have is God's money. If we did not have our health and strength, we could not work to earn the money. We are stewards of God's money. As stewards, we should make good decisions with the money that God has given us. Honor God with your tithes, 10% of your income. Save at least 10% of your income. Set goals. Live below your means. Spend less than what you earn. Don't spend money frivolously. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Stick to your budget. Plan, plan, plan. We can learn a lesson from the ant. King Solomon stated that the ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. Ants plan for the future. If a little creature like the ant can work during the summer and look ahead for the future, rainy and cold days, we as humans have no excuse. It's not how much you make. It's what you do with what you make. You have to be consistent with your savings. If you find that you are spending more money than what you are earning, find ways to increase your income. Cut back on your spending. I'll get a part-time job. You don't have to be a professional money manager or a millionaire to save and plan for the future. Ants have been storing up since the Bible times. Save every penny you can. Place your extra change in a jar. And add it in your savings. All your extra change. Just save it. Benjamin Franklin says, a penny saved is a penny earned. So listeners, think about your decisions and how it will impact your finances. Be a good steward of what God has given you, whether it is a lot or a little. Be a good steward. God expects us to make wise financial decisions and do what we can with what we have. We can take control of our finances in 2021 and hereafter. Thank you for tuning in this evening to Essential Inspirational Highlights. I am your host, Sister Jamie. I will be back in 2 weeks on Friday, January the 22nd at 7 p.m. Have a good evening.